Well, fire restrictions went into effect yesterday on all BLM managed public lands in Oregon and Washington. With warm, dry weather expected, the risk of wildfires is increasing, and it only takes one spark. That's why fireworks exploding or metallic targets, steel core ammo, tracer or incendiary devices, and sky lanterns are all now banned. These rules help prevent human-caused wildfires, which can spread quickly as grasses dry out. Violators could face fines of up to $100,000 or up to a year in prison and may be responsible for the fire suppression cost. A reminder before heading out, check for active restrictions and closures.